When the asset's doing great, hey, I love that asset. It doesn't quite mean I don't like the other assets. You like them less. How do you make lemonade out of lemons?
Look through the story of James Dyson. He tried like many times before he succeeded. If you want to be successful.
When markets are down, shift flight to quality. And when markets are up, then you are able to enjoy the pickup in rents or the pickup in room rates. From 23 onward, a lot of people are at new companies. Do need people to come back to work. Do need that collaboration. If you tear down an old building, build a new one, is that ESG friendly?
Hello and welcome to this episode of Beyond the Boardroom, a series where we get to know more about companies listed on the SGX and their key appointment holders. I'm Natalie, Equity Analyst with CGS International, and with me is CEO of CGS International Singapore, Mr. Malcolm Koo. In this episode, we turn the spotlight on OUE REIT, and we have with us Mr. Han Khim Siew, CEO and Executive Director of OUE REIT. Han, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Good morning, Natalie. Very well indeed. Thank you.
So let's jump right into it. So Han, the REIT has 3 office assets, OUE Bayfront, One Raffles Place, and OUE Downtown, which are situated within the CBD. You have 2 hotels, Hilton Singapore Orchard, as well as Crowne Plaza Changi Airport. And you have 1 retail asset, Mandarin Gallery, which is located beside Hilton Orchard Singapore along the prime Orchard Road belt. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Han. These are fantastic assets which we are all familiar with. And similar to asking a parent to pick their favorite child, I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite asset within this awesome portfolio.
Tricky question, that. So I'll share with you actually something which very few people know. Actually, when I was younger, I actually entertained the thought of having 6 children, actually. So one of my very good friends, he had actually 6 boys. So I thought, it's quite a fun house. Fast forward many years later, and you've pointed out, actually, I do have 6 children. You actually like the child when the child's behaving and when the child's doing great things. And that's the same for our assets. When the asset's doing great, hey, I love that asset. It doesn't quite mean I don't like the other assets or the other children. You like them less, to be really honest. Then you have to roll up your sleeves and then you have to scratch your head, figure out what's going on, and what can you do to bring out the best of them. The potential, and what they can do the best with whatever they have in terms of qualities as well. And it's not a single formula for each child or each asset. You have to look at the situation. You have to look at where the asset is with regards to the cycles, and then you plan accordingly, and then you work on it. Like we for the Hilton Singapore Orchard, it was perfect time to carry out the asset enhancement, $150 million. Exercise back during COVID. So the hotel shut down. So we announced it March 2020. We completed the first tower in January 2022, completed the second tower in 2023. So we timed it, right? So it was not a favorite child during COVID. Owning hotels is a bad business during COVID. But how do you make lemonade out of lemons? So how do you bring the best out of that child? So we did that. And similarly, we did a asset enhancement exercise for the Crowne Plaza as well in 2023. And we actually had it up and running by January 2024 as well. So you actually work on it, and then when it's doing well, then that becomes your favorite child for a little while, and then you have to go figure out what to do with the other 5 kids. Right?
Yeah, you were mentioning the timing. The timing is actually really good. So when the lockdowns eased and everything, being in Orchard Road, Hilton Singapore Orchard benefited greatly, and I know that this hotel has always benefited from the F1. And I know there's crazy room rates that you guys have actually booked out during the F1 period. And also, of course, the concert season. Since we're on the topic of tourism, Han, going forward, how do you think the length of stay and your revenue per available room, RevPAR, will trend?
I think if we look at, so going back a little bit, post-COVID, as we were coming out of COVID in 2022, so a lot of countries were locked down. So Singapore and the government managed it really well. So opened up quite quickly, and the rules were very clear: how you get in, if you needed to be tested, don't need to be tested, how you can exit the country, ease of movement as well. So In 2022, we saw actually tourism really spike up, especially business travel for the senior management. We had sort of a lot of banks, the senior management who had not been out to Asia for a while, would fly into Singapore, call their regional heads, CEOs, and they would meet, and a number of them held meetings here. And we saw that really pick up. So 22, 23 did really well. And obviously the hotels benefited and room rates rose quite quickly as well. So what we're trying to do with the two hotels is position it correctly. So we have the first sort of criteria correct. We have the correct location in Orchard Road and then in Crown Plaza at the Changi Airport. So correct locations. The next is, we try and do our best in terms of providing the best service, the best amenities, the best type of rooms, and be competitive as well during that period. You will see cyclical highs and lows, but overall the long-term trend is going up. So we have to somewhat ignore the short-term noise and work through it. But this trend will continue to grow. So we're really happy with our hotels.
I think as a trend, I mean, if you look at the tourism numbers for the average length of stay in Singapore, I think we have also surpassed the pre-COVID number of days. I think now it's trending about 3.6 days. But I think for your hospitality business, whether it's Crown Plaza or Hilton, I think it's a good proxy to at least the Singapore Tourism Board's effort to bring in more events. Because if you look at trend line in terms of average number of stays, it's actually on an uptrend. And you look at hotel room rates on average, it's also on an uptrend. And probably some of the bigger initiatives like the new zoo, the integrated zoo that we have, with the bird park, that also increased the length of stay. So I think, going forward, as Singapore organizes more of these mega concerts, more of these mega conferences, I think probably you will benefit given the locations of both hotels, because you capture both the short-term stay, at the hotel, as well as the longer-term stay, in probably one of the best locations.
Thank you. We believe so too.
Yeah.
So since 2024, Singapore has had the privilege of being the only Asian stop for a couple of international artists like Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. And so I want to ask Malcolm, what is your favorite genre of all time, or your feel-good song?
I think for Taylor Swift's song, I think the one that I really like, it's actually one of the first songs that she's written, I think when she was about 12. I think it's called The Outside. And in many times, she was not successful. Look through the story of James Dyson. He tried like many times before he succeeded. So again, that relates to many people who actually want to do something well in life. It's you got to repeat and try many, many times. And that is the drive, that you want, if you want to be successful. I'm not a music person.
The horror. The horror.
So I'm not a music person. So if you were to look at my Spotify, my actually favorite genre is actually contemporary Christian music. It's always on. I mean, it's always on car.
Okay.
I don't really know what plays on the background.
You're too deep in your own thoughts. The rest is just white noise.
I mean, to me, music is more of a filler.
Okay. Well, Han, how about you? Don't disappoint. Come on.
I like country music actually.
Country music, okay.
Yeah, and I from Shania Twain, Tim McGraw, down to now it's Miles Smith. So I really like it. I mean, one day I hope to go to the Tennessee Music Festival and put on my cowboy boots and my 9-gallon hat. Right? So that's what I really like to do.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay. So at a market-wide price-to-book ratio of approximately 0.6 times for office assets, current valuations suggest a cautious investor sentiment towards this asset class. But for now, new office supply appears to be absorbing quite well, and the office rents are holding up. So how do you think your office portfolio will fare in the next 12 months?
We really like our office portfolio as well. It's we have OUE Bayfront, One Raffles Place, OUE Downtown. So again, all three assets are located in a very prime core asset, and that ties in really with the strategy we have. We have a gamma strategy. So the idea is if you pick the best quality assets, it will actually perform during times of volatility. So when markets are down, you will see a shift flight to quality, and when markets are up, then you are able to actually enjoy the pickup in rents or the pickup in room rates. Right? So we have that underlying gamma strategy. So offices generate for us circa 50% of the income, And then the other 50% is a combination of the hotel and retail, which has a bit more volatility. It improves when tourism picks up. Obviously, it comes off when tourism comes down. If you look at it, there's very limited supply. Demand's not fantastic at this point in time, but we don't have tenants coming to us and say, well, with all the tariff turmoil, we're going to give back space. No, they're taking a sort of more cautious approach as well and saying, look, let's see where it lands, and then let's determine whether we expand or we really do need to consolidate. So Singapore is very well positioned, and all three office buildings have their own type of tenants. So from the high end at Bayfront, where we have Bank of America, a number of big US hedge funds, the address, One Raffles Place stands out, right? So on your letterhead, you have One Raffles Place, so that stands out, and the convenience of the MRT below that. So we are cautiously optimistic that we'll still have positive rent reversion throughout this year. How much of that will be a function of how quickly the tariffs are resolved, or if there's a lot more turmoil, then obviously that sort of rent reversion will compress a little bit more.
And because of the stellar location of your buildings, I mean, OUE Bayfront has the best view in CBD, in my opinion.
I agree.
In my opinion. Okay, sorry, NBFC is also very good, boss. Yeah, it's also very good. And we've seen this in the past, even in weaker economic cycles where people start to pull out and rents start to dip. It's all these grade A kind of office buildings that people say, like, I'm going to be in Singapore. This is a long-term place that I want to be in, and then they start to go in because it's the best time to go in and lock in the rents at a lower rate because I'm going to be here anyway. So I think the location really helps to pull in the demand as well for your assets.
It does, and if you look at it, I think the work from home sort of shift has now sort of rebalanced towards some, I would say, a healthy dynamic where you have 1 or 2 days work from home and you actually need to be back in the office, and we believe in that because pre-COVID, a lot of internal equity was built up by employees, by staff, because they interacted with each other for many years. And during that COVID period, you could do that work from home because you knew each other well. I'd known Malcolm for 10 years, and we pick up a phone, we do video calls, and that works. But if you saw in 2022, 23, there was a great sort of resignation and mass movement of employees in Singapore. And a lot of people resigned, they moved on to new companies. And if you look at it from 23 onwards, a lot of people are at new companies, and so you actually do need people to come back to work. So they do need to get to know each other a little bit better. You do need that collaboration. So companies are finding that. So where do employees want to be? They want to be in the CBD because after work, they only come in 3 days or 4 days a week. They can go Pilates classes, they can go to the best yoga classes, they can go to fine dining if they want, they can go to the newest hawker eatery to try food out. But it's all really very much in the CBD.
I think one of the strong DNA of the property of the group is that you make everything beautiful, right? It's not only grade A, but even every single detailing in the building, it's of very, very good quality. Something that I think the group puts a lot of emphasis, but maybe people underappreciate the attention to detail.
I agree.
Which I think Nat pointed out, OUE Bayfront, best view in her opinion, and obviously the redevelopment of big assets within the REIT is something that unlocks quite a lot of value. So what are you looking for before that kind of opportunity arises in terms of unlocking some of these values?
So Malcolm, you're correct. So one of the key features as you walk through our buildings and our properties is that refined taste. So our group chairman has refined taste, and he has very high standards on ensuring that as you walk through our building, there is that visual and that tactile appeal, experience through our buildings. And whatever we will develop going forwards will have that same consistent theme as well. It's always a tricky balance to determine when do you take an asset offline and redevelop it. And I think the ESG consideration is important. I mean, we all talk about how much energy we save, etc. But all buildings have embedded carbon within it. So if you tear down an old building and then actually build a new one, is that ESG friendly or is that not ESG friendly? I think that's something which actually should be looked at in a lot more detail down the line. Or do you repurpose it and do you make it a lot more energy efficient, a lot more water efficient? Would that actually be more more ESG sort of compliant.
So is there a target, geographical and asset class proportion in your mind?
You know, when you go through the cycles, you'll have cycles where analysts will say, look, you should be in a specific country, and sometimes they will say you should be in a specific sector only. And we've seen, I mean, back in 22, 23, when we were on roadshows, we talked to investors, they look at us and say, office, oh goodness, please. We don't want any office exposure, so please don't talk to us. And recently in the last 6 months, when we talked to different investors, in Asia, everyone's like, you have office, great, and it's all in Singapore, wonderful. We really love offices right now. So I think, again, we have to approach a look-through, adopt that look-through approach and understand what we're here to offer. We're here to offer stable returns, stable dividends for our unit holders, and with very little volatility in terms of valuation.
So Han, what kind of sustainability initiatives have you implemented in your assets, like for example in Hilton Singapore Orchard?
So when we were undertaking the asset enhancement, we put in new control systems for all the rooms. So when a guest leaves the room and there's no activity past a certain number of minutes, all the electricity gets cut off. So AC lights that were not turned off will get cut off. So that allows us to enjoy a lot more electricity energy efficiency. We also installed a bottling facility. So for mineral water. So we're moving away from plastic. So we provide bottled water in all the rooms. So we actually bottle it ourselves, and it has plenty for our 1,080 rooms. It actually has enough for another 2 or 3 hotels as well. Along the side of the outdoor alfresco area, we also planted the different herbs that are used in the food and also in the pizza. These are little initiatives which we undertake for our hotel. So a little bit goes a long way.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so Han, within your portfolio, there are a couple of well-known restaurants. Singapore's most expensive chicken rice, Chatterbox, comes to mind, which also serves up amazing local cuisine with upgraded ingredients. We also have a beloved brunch spot, Wild Honey, and Singapore's first premium Korean ginseng soup restaurant, Modu, as well as Drim, a premium Korean barbecue and steakhouse. So Han and Malcolm, if you could only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Malcolm.
Fortunately, you say cuisine and not food. I think in terms of cuisine-wise, I think my favorite cuisine would be Japanese, if there's only one choice. Okay. Because I think in Japanese cuisine, you can have it many different styles. You can have it raw, even you can have it vegetarian, you can have it shabu-shabu style, you can have it barbecue. So it's quite a wide range in terms of variety. So Japanese cuisine would probably be my pick.
Okay, what about you, Han? So
in my 20s, I would say, fried food and carbs, actually. That's what I'd eat all day, actually. But now sort of fast forward, a lot older now, the body can't quite take it, as much as I would like to eat it. But so I would say Mediterranean, Mediterranean food. I think it's, as Malcolm says, it can be done in a variety of ways, and it's lighter on the system for me.
Okay. It's interesting. Okay. So now to the fun questions. What is the best decision that you guys have made in your lives, and why?
I'll defer to Malcolm.
I think the best decision in life, it changes all the time. As
you're always making good decisions. You beat yourself every day. So new best decision every day.
When you are a kid, you do have some decisions that you think is good, but as you grow a little bit older, that question evolves. But I think what is good is you should live your life so that you have no regrets. So if you want to do something, you should just act on it and do it. Right? We've had an afterthought that years down the road, when you look at it and you said, yeah, it's great that I've done it. So I think that to me is the litmus test, in terms of what do you think is a great decision. It may not be a successful decision, but it's something that resonates well with you and something that you do not regret because you've done it.
How about you, Han?
So many years ago, actually, I finished university, I had several job offers to work in London. Obviously, being young, London is a lot more attractive than going home. But I was on, the government paid for me, and I was on a scholarship. So I was quite torn actually in between the two. I mean, hanging out with my friends, being exciting in London in your early 20s, a lot more interesting, right? But I talked to my grandma. My grandma never went to school. She calculated in her own way, and she's quite old by then. So I asked her. She looked at me and she said, "Did you know that you had to work for the government, when you took the money and you took the scholarship?" I said, "Yes." Well, then there's no decision. You already committed to it, and you should stick to it because you promised them, and you should keep your promise, and you should keep your word. So regret. I really regretted sort of I shouldn't have taken the scholarship and all these things. But that was the best advice she actually gave me, and I really didn't like that decision. But I took that decision.
Technically, you could have just paid off the bond, right?
Yeah, I mean that. But she said no. But that's not the point. She said the point is
you're a man of your word.
You knew what you were committing to, and you should stick to it. And I look upon my life and decisions that were made or how things have evolved, and I'm glad I actually took that advice and commit to it, and I try and live to that, and whatever we say, we try and do that. Right?
So thank you, Han and Malcolm, for joining us today and for all the insights that you've shared. And that is it for this episode of Beyond the Boardroom. Stay tuned for exclusive interviews and behind-the-scene insights.